This board is it's a composite to HDMI board that you get off of Amazon for, I think it's £5 or £5.99. And all I've done is take it out the case. You can have it so you can plug composite and your two audio jacks straight into the box where it comes in, and then you can plug your HDMI in. But me being me, I don't want anything external that I don't need external. That's why I've been messing about with this. This was originally going to go on the Commodore Golden 64, but unfortunately I've built the 507 board, which it doesn't work on because it needs an amp. Welcome back. Right, it's the same day from last week's video, exact same day. Last week we finished off with we fill the hole because I'm good at that. Got the floppy working. I've ordered a new floppy cable. I've sprayed everything. Well, we sprayed the back what we repaired and everything. Got the SD extension sorted and everything. So it's just the keyboard left. What I've done, I've took the keyboard apart. Don't need to see how to do that. Got the membrane out. The keys which weren't working were, I marked them on the table actually, I wrote on the desk so I wouldn't forget because I didn't have a piece of paper. SH, LO and delete. That's sort of good news, I think, because on the membrane I've marked them with little X's, so you see a little X down here, there's an X there, they're the ones what aren't working, there's an X over here, there's an X over here by delete, little X down here. They're not all tied into each other. Now to test it, you want a multimeter on continuity to test to make sure it's safe where the breaks are. And this is why I don't think it's the membrane. So on continuity, and it's the continuity, you'll hear a beep, like that. So we'll start with this one, which is S, I think. Right, so we check the bottom pad, we follow the trace where it's going down, or going up, so it goes up to this one up here. We've got continuity, but we know that key is alright. So we'll check coming down. Yeah, it goes down to that one. And we know that key is alright. So that's not wrong with that pad. So we'll check the one above. Got continuity. There's nothing wrong with that key. So that's fine. Check this one. So we'll connect to that one there, and we'll go to this one down here. So that's fine, the bottom one's fine. And it goes up to the top one there. So it's fine. Now the top part of it, so go on to that and it goes across, jumps over the traces, goes to that, which that one's fine. So that's fine. Same again, just repeat the process. These two are the two duff ones together next to each other. So if you see, I've got a signal there. So if I hold that one, there's a signal there, so there's not wrong with this bottom area. So we'll hold that one, and that goes up to that one. There's nothing wrong with that key there, so we know that bottom one's alright. So we'll check this one. That's fine. That key's alright, so we know it's not that. So it's none of these. So all of them aren't linked to each other. And they're all fine. So it's something to do with the keyboard. But we'll just check the delete. And this one's a bit of a pain. Where's that going? Down there. Goes to that one. Yeah. There we go, so we've got continuity there and it goes to that one. We've got continuity there. So these are alright. Everything's fine on that. It could be the end here. It could be. If it is that end, I could trim off just like a little millimetre off the end there with pair of scissors. And it'll feed up a bit further with the pins. But we'll put that to one side. So what I'm going to do is find the keys on here. Just give them a gentle wipe down with an IPA and a cotton bud. Real gentle wipe. And I'm also going to wipe the membrane as well. So a little bit, flick it off so it's not soaked. Put the membrane on so we can see where the X's are. So it's this one up here, this one here. Just give that a gentle wipe. Flip it over to that X. Gentle wipe. I'm not saying this will fix it, but it's nothing to do with the traces. So need to clean this. Right, connected the GoTech, connected the keyboard. This is the Amiga test kit. Yeah. Keyboard. Delete. No. Yeah, delete didn't work. Was it L? Oh. Oh, we got one hit with L. L works. Oh, L works. H. H doesn't. S doesn't. Oh, now A doesn't. Yeah, that's intermittent. Oh, D's working again. Right, it's got a bit of rim, so let's disconnect that. So what you want to do, just a small millimetre just straight off the back end of it. Just a tiny little bit. It's literally a hair's width. We'll put it back in. Keyboard. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. There we go. I saved me a membrane, 30 quid. Yeah, so just be careful with your membrane. So you've got keys disappearing. It's not always the well, it will be one end of the membrane. It's not always the traces on the membrane. It could just be the socket where you're pulling it in and out all the time. You're just wearing it down a bit. Calm down. Yeah. It was an easy fix. I like them fixes. Right, Captain's log 106654. Right, I've been at this for bloody ages again. Right, so I've started from scratch. It's review over here. Raw footage again. So I've started from scratch. Went back to basics. So took an audio jack. I've split it to make it into a composite. So composite with, well, that's not composite, that's composite ground. So what I'm going to do is put an original, well not an original, put a mini USB plug into here, into a phone jack charger, which is a 5 volt, and then connect HDMI. Now I've got 600 here, which has got composite out. The 500s have composite out, but it's part of the RGB. So this should work no matter what on the 600. It should. I'm just going to plug this into composite. And HDMI. And make sure it's all powered off. Plug that in. We should. Right. So at the moment, if you look up there, that's 720. Battery's running out again. So quickly power it on. Yeah, that flicker is the CPU. That you can put a capacitor on there, 3 to 5 farad capacitor. It'll stop that flicker problem, which is annoying as hell. It's even worse on the 500s. 1200s, the 500s. Yeah, it didn't work. Oh, yeah, it did work. Did work. Oh. HDMI for a £5. Right, so that's 720p at the minute. I know it's flickering, it's because of a refresh rate on the camera. I'll change it to 1080p, which is HDMI. 1080p. There you go. let me get a mouse and plug it in. Right. As we can start a game. There'll be no audio because I haven't connected the audio. Games. It's probably going to look like crap. Because bear in mind, this is composite being upscaled to HDMI. Yeah, it looks a bit crap. It needs a... It works. As you can see, the planet wasn't round, it was sort of like egg-shaped. It's been stretched a bit. It's a problem with upscaling, you see. Right, June. In HDMI. I think if it was back to the original size, which I don't think you can on this. But let me change the battery on that before I start messing about with this. Fixed it. And so it's in 4.3 now, which is standard output. Because back then they didn't have 16:9. Well, they did in the pictures, but not on your TV. So the outputs in these were 4:3. I just got a hotwire volume, well, audio volume. Right, let me hotwire some sound onto it. Yeah, I don't know why it's not working on a 500 though. I haven't figured that bit out. Right, let me get on with that. Right, bit of budget and Scarpa. So I've connected the left and right channel. So let's plug this in. Now it should work. There should be no problem with the sound. I hope. So as you can see, it's square, 4:3. Well, just off square. But it's upscaling it to, I think this is 720p at the minute. I don't think the sound on TV. We'll have a check. Oh, that. Wrong one. The reason I haven't played Monkey Island 2 on here is because it takes a while for it actually to get to any volume, any audio output. And I don't think it's going to come out the telly because the subwoofer's plugged in. Yeah. Yeah. Bollocks. Hang on, I need to plug the subwoofer in now as well. Got it! Alright. So, for a £5, I've got Amiga 600 on HDMI. Gods. Gotta give this a bit of volume. I'll probably get a copyright strike for this music. Last time I had this music playing on my channel, I got a copyright strike. So I had to take the video down. That looks sweet on that TV. Well, guess what I'll be doing this week then? Playing with that board, see if I can get it installed. Don't know where I'm going to put it though. I'll figure it out. So there you go, raw footage video. If you're new to this channel, this isn't generally what the video is like. This is just me messing about, and I thought, well, I may as well make a video of it. Yeah. You don't need a Pi Storm unless you want the CPU speed and memory and the other good things. If you just want HDMI, $5. Plus you can get them anywhere. You can't get the Raspberry Pis. Well, you can, but they're not cheap. Even though I've got one up there somewhere, or two. Right, so we've got a pack of 2 HDMI extensions, only small ones. I think these are 12 centimeters. You get a pack of 2. There's one. There's the other. I'm just cutting this now. I'm just going to trim this. I've marked the lines around the plastic. So what I'm going to do with it is I'll tuck it down. In a 600, unlike the 1200 and the 500, there's not much space in here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have the HDMI just above the 2 audio jacks. Yeah, just above the 2 audio jacks there. So then you can plug a HDMI in there, because you won't need the audio if you've got HDMI plugged in, because it goes through HDMI. That's why I'm putting it over that. And plus it's somewhere to attach it. Oh, I can't put it over that. Ah, bugger. I've just realised that. Yeah, so ignore what I've just said, because it can't go there. I forgot about the ribbon. Well, it could, but then you're forcing the ribbon down. Ah, bugger. Yeah, what's this one here? Can't put it there because there's a cap there. Where's there? Bloody wire everywhere. What's this? Oh, parallel port. Yeah. So, nobody uses a parallel port. So I might be able to put it just on top of the parallel port there. In fact, I will be able to. So yeah, even though I've fixed this case and filled the hole that somebody cut out of it, I'm going to cut a hole. Right, let me trim this down a bit, and then I'll show you what I'm talking about. Right, so I've cut the piece off, yay wide, and it's still the plastic on the inside as well. It popped off like a lid up. So I cut it, and I heard a pop. What was that? It was that popping off. Strange construction. That I thought this was just melted around the HDMI socket, but it's not. So now we've got a little crown on it. If I can focus on it, see. No, need to cut a hole through the case for this size here to fit through. I can use that as my template, the inner hole, so I can just mark that out and I'll know where to cut, because I want a nice snug fit on the case. Yeah, not too snug, because obviously somebody might want to work on the board and take the board out, so they need this to come out with the board. Done it. So this cable, don't pull on it. Not holding it in, it's just holding it in by pure force. As soon as I've screwed the board down, pushed the board up, it's pushed the HDMI cable tight down on top of the socket. Excuse me, HDMI. So let's just make sure I can plug HDMI in. There's enough space. I think there is. Yeah, there is. There you go. HDMI. Sweet. Something just happened by accident. So what I've got here is a tap. Not a tap for water. Tap. Puts a thread in a hole. That's how you get threads in holes. Manually, by the way. Just want to see if that's big enough. Making a bit of a thread for the standoff to screw into. Now, put a little plastic washer just on the standoff, just because there's some pads around here and I don't want this aluminium touching them. Aha! There you go. Standoff. Sweet. That worked. A treat. Let's check the other side. Yep, that's fine. So, right, so make the hole bigger. So that should sit on there and screw in. Like that. Voila. It'll probably move because it's only screwed in at one side. But, aha. Let's so we're going to tighten that down a bit. Oh, what the hell? What the hell's that then? No, hang on. That's the wrong standoff. It's one of the long ones. There you go. Yeah, that makes sense. So where the hell I got that from? I took that up there. There you go. Job's a kipper. HDMI. So then you can plug HDMI in there, like that. Sweet. That looks quite cool, to be fair. Yeah. Right. So what I've done, I've had a spare power jack, so I put on the floppy power and tapped into that from the top here. I'll find a proper place to tap into it eventually. Yeah. Right. Let's test it. Right, it's a bit dark I know. Let me just plug everything in. Right, you ready? There you go. Sweet. Look at that. Magic. Let's see if we got volume. Or sound. We just saw a purple flash then. What was that? Oh. Amplify that one. I need to get rid of that bloody thing. Oh yes. And we've got sound. So you can see it playing in the background. Magic. HDMI for a £5. Have it. That's that done then. Right, well, I'm going to call it a night now, because obviously it's pitch black. I'll clean it up in the morning, the wiring and that. And then we'll take a look in broad daylight. Sweet. Morning. Right. I've been flying away at this and forgot to record it. Yeah, I got carried away. So what I'm doing is just going through the board, finding another VCC. There's loads of them on the board because we were plugged into the floppy. The problem with that is when I go to attach a GoTech or a floppy, I can't because the plug's in there. So I've been finding a suitable VCC. So on the expansion, here. You got VCC right at the beginning, pin 1, I think. Yeah. So what I've done, unplug that. I put a pin header through. There's a wire there going through, big enough for a pin header. So I've soldered a pin header onto it. Attached a bit of wire to the power going into the. Oh God, it's too early. Yeah, what's it going into? Oh, the upscaler. Yeah, it's going into the upscaler. So just plug the pin header on like that. There you go. Just a male to female pin header. That's all it is. What I might do is I'm going to bend the pin header down a bit. Put it on a 45 because I think that's close to where the keyboard is. So, and then I'm going to put this wire, once I've soldered it together, joined it together, because I've just tested it works. So put the wire underneath the board. This one, the power. That's what I'm just going to do now. A small bit of heat shrink. Like that. Oh. Didn't mean to do that. Yeah. Cut the small piece off and chucked it in the box. Alright, so that's that. Need to hold that there. Like that. Put the heat tubing over. Turn that off. The heat tube and a little shrinky dink. Right, let's go over and test it. Right, ready? Yeah, that worked. It's just loading up from the SD card. Yeah, that worked. Sweet. Right, what I'm quickly going to do is just check the RGB still works. It should do. It's not interfering with it. That one. That one. And we'll put the speakers in just to make sure it's not interfering with that either. Where's my mouse? Right, let's power that one. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so 1200 sold to somebody in Poland. So rather than me cancelling it and then put it back on eBay the next time I get 80%, I've let it go. But it's not going to Poland, it's going to London, which is apparently his sister's. So I've informed eBay of what's gone on with it. And the guy on the phone I spoke to, he's agreed. He said just email and confirm that it's going to his sister's and then he's getting it. After that, if anything happens to it, because it's the third party shipment, it's down to him. So we won't be able to claim off of you if he breaks it. So I'm like, cool. So I've done that. But yeah, I mean, I even put on there UK bidders only with UK home addresses. And I did all the settings in there. Because the eBay guy said, well, why didn't you just select the settings where it's UK mainland only? I said I did. And he still could bid because he's got a UK address attached to his eBay, even though he doesn't live there. So yeah, so that's like, I'm not happy about that, but it is what it is. Yeah, let's fire up June, make sure the sound still works. It should do, it shouldn't make any difference. because there's no power going into the HDMI board. Did I not? Oh. Must have double clicked it. There you go. Sweet. I've just been editing the video, just finished, played it back, and then noticed something. All the wiring appeared by magic. Yeah, obviously I didn't record this bit. I thought I had, but I hadn't. So this is the wire. I'm going to explain it now. So on the mini USB, pin 1, which is to the right, is your 5V VCC. So what I've done is tapped the brown wire into the capacitor next to the pin 1, which is connected to it anyway. That goes through to that pin header we put in. Right. The red wire, as you can see here, that is your composite there. Not your composite ground, your composite. That red wire runs all the way around over to the composite over here, to the right pin, which is your center pin on your composite. Then we've got, I think the green one is ground, yeah. So the green one here, this is our ground. So it runs through, and I've grounded it over here to ground up there. You only need one because all on this board, everything is grounded together. So you don't need to ground your left and your right, and then you don't need to ground your composite either, or ground your mini, because it's all connected. So the yellow one is your right channel. So it's connected there, it goes all the way down, goes to the right side of your right channel, which is a center pin. Then your orange is your left channel, goes all the way down to the left side, which is your center pin. Like I said, everything else is all grounded through the green wire. That's the wiring. So you've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wires coming out. So VCC, which is your brown, composite, which is your red, right channel, which is your yellow, left channel, which is your orange, ground, which is green. And that's your wiring. And so there you go. So you've learned how to find faults on your keyboard membrane. If the keys aren't all in the same vicinity, it could just be a simple thing like we did, trim. Now we've installed the composite to HDMI upscaler, it's just a case of plugging in a HDMI cable. It's cool. Yeah. Next week it might be GameCube. That one. I'm going to put in Pick-a-Boot in the little card. I'll explain it next week when you see it. So yeah, unless an Amiga drops in my lap for some mysterious reason, it's GameCube next week. So sorry Amiga guys. I've got to get back to the real stuff. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. Hope you learned something. If you didn't, not my fault. Just don't forget, hit the like button, give it a thumbs up. Any queries or anything, just drop them in the messages. I'll ignore them. Thanks for watching. See you next time.